Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Refuge from Narcissism, and this refugee video is sponsored by contribution from Tanya, and this is Tanya. She's done a bunch of videos with us, and her last one was Daughters of the Borderline Mother Resent Each Other for Life. And here's her story. Hi, Ollie. Tanya here again. The narcissist has a monopoly on grief and suffering. I recently read a book on childhood neglect. In it, it showcased how little I was allowed to feel and express myself. I realized there were unspoken cues instilled in me by my mother that let me know it was shameful to feel. Oh yeah, I mean, that's something we learn very, very, very early. How to hide your feelings, hide your emotions, hide what you're really thinking, because you don't want to get judged, you don't want to get hit, you don't want to get abused. We become chameleons, shells. How do I know this? For one, I don't remember a single memory where I ran to my mom for comfort if I was distraught. Instead, I hid away and silently endured whatever happened to me. Even when I got physically hurt, I would hide my injury from my mom. Yeah, I would too. Like, the only time I went to my mother if I was legitimately sick, like throwing up, that was it. And it was, you know, she knew I was sick because I was throwing up or there's something wrong with you. No, I didn't go to my, that's true. I didn't go to my mother because she was constantly here. She comes with a fucking thermometer again. So she knew I was, you couldn't hide it. Like when I got sick, I couldn't hide it. It was just, I got so sick when I was a kid. One time she told me she noticed I often hid my injuries from her, and it puzzled her why I did this. I remember at the time I had no answer. I think I knew as a child that my mom was not willing and also incapable of providing the comfort that I needed. This was never offered to me by her, so it felt unnatural to go to her if I had a need. Instead, I learned to cope with it on my own. This extended to the remainder of my childhood and teen years. It was in my 20s when I was older and realized the large gap in my life of not having a close relationship with my mom. I had hoped to grow close with my mom, but it did not happen. I saw my mom and sister getting close and I was left out. I often saw on TV shows that daughters hate their moms when they're teenagers and become friends in their 20s. Instead, my 20s and 30s were filled with emotional abuse, rejection, threats, accusations, and even physical abuse. I put up with it for so long, hoping one day it would change. Seeking answers, I Googled why mothers hate their daughters. This was January 2014, and I was 32 years old. It was late at night and I was crying myself to sleep. I had moved back to my hometown in New York from the previous summer. This was to be my new chapter, a second chance. I packed up my life and had hopes of getting close with my family, meeting a guy and settling down. Things seemed to be going well since I had been hired as a senior financial analyst at a great company prior to my move back home. I was excited to start my new job. How quickly my hopes were dashed just a couple months after I moved back. My parents offered to let me stay with them until I found my own place. Then the invitation was extended to stay for the winter to save money. Just like a person returns to a romantic relationship, there is a honeymoon period for the beatings to start. That is what happened to me. For the first few months, my mom behaved. I thought we had turned a corner. By Thanksgiving 2013, the first strike came, a literal strike. The catalyst was my older sister was visiting from out of state for the holiday. I had hoped me and my mom could have had a chance to forge a relationship without my sister's influence. The red flags were already presenting themselves when my mom crashed a FaceTime call that I had with my sister the month before, and I was quickly triangulated by the two of them. Once Thanksgiving rolled around, there was a change in the air with the presence of my sister. The old guard was back. No one had to say anything. The tone and body language were all the cues I needed. Despite observing this, I was trying to be optimistic that this time would be different. The time before Thanksgiving, I was sitting in the kitchen with my mom and sister. My mom, the classic borderline, was recounting events from earlier at the grocery store. My mom said she was walking into the grocery store and she saw some sort of disagreement in the parking lot between two people. Instead of her walking by and minding her own business, my mom decided to interject herself into something that had nothing to do with her. In the end, my mom got chewed out and she was claiming her victim status and how her help was unwelcome by those ungrateful people. Of course, they are the villains in this story. I suddenly got anxious listening to another dramatic story. I did not know that borderlines get off on drama and seek it out. As my mom was concluding the story, I sat there feeling anxious, especially since my mom was expecting sympathy and validation from me and my sister. My sister is the ever-loyal golden child who believes my mom can do no wrong because of my mom's abusive upbringing. I sat there and could not fake it. I could not condone my mother's behavior. So I decided to be bold, thinking of the legwork my mom and I had done over the last few months meant she would value my opinion. No, all that legwork. Listen, the legwork you're doing, that you think you're doing with the narcissist, is nothing more than the narcissist thinking, okay, that you should be loyal to me. All that legwork in your mother's head is legwork to raise your loyalty to her. It's not about forging a relationship, fixing the relationship, having a decent mother-daughter relationship, that she would value your opinion as her daughter, as a woman, as whatever. No. What you were doing over those months in her mind was proving your loyalty to her. You think you're building a relationship. They see it as building loyalty. I said, Mom, why does it matter? Why are you worried about something that has nothing to do with you? Next time, save yourself the trouble and don't get involved. Then you won't be stressed out like you are now. My mom said nothing. Yeah, for now, I'm sure. But my mom and sister exchanged glances and my mom looked really mad. My mom got up and I sat there thinking that was the end of it. If you saw your mother and sister exchange glances, why would you think that would be the end of it? Suddenly, something struck me really hard on the back of the head. I reached back and held the back of my head at the sudden pain. I saw my mom run to her room and slam the door. Sitting there shell-shocked at what just happened, I then saw the egg rolling on the floor. My mom had taken a hard-boiled egg and thrown it as hard as she could at the back of my head. Right, like a child lashing out, like a jealous cheerleader lashing out. You were disloyal to her. Your disloyalty to her now sparks a violent outrage, a narcissistic borderline outburst. You're disloyal to her. You thought you're building some kind of fucking relationship with this sociopathic monster? No, all you're doing is giving her, saying you're building your loyalty to her. I sat there in pain. My sister glared at me. I said to her, "Why did she do that?" My sister angrily responded, "You shouldn't have said that to her. You have only yourself to blame." Well, fuck you too, bitch. Fuck you too, bitch. That's it. At that moment, you get up and you're like, go fuck each other forever. You're out of my life forever. No more explanations, no more talking, no more trying to build a relationship, no understanding, no fuck off for life. That's it. That's it. So in another couple months, you could go try to fix the fucking relationship again while your sister's away. Meanwhile, she thinks you're just trying to pledge your loyalty back to her so this fucking cycle can repeat itself once again. It was like initiation. They had to reclaim the order of the family. I had to be reminded of my place, reminded that I was not allowed an opinion and to never challenge the head narc. The next month was Christmas. Thanksgiving was the warm-up. 2 days before Christmas, I had severely broken my ankle after slipping on a wet floor. I was in a walking boot. Nothing was planned for Christmas as far as a family get-together. I was still living with my parents at this point, but was apartment hunting after the Thanksgiving egg strike. That's right, you were still living there. Should have got a hotel. So just go. You know, it's a hard time to move and find an apartment. I mean, suddenly, late in the afternoon on Christmas Eve, my mom declares everyone is coming over to my parents' house the next day for Christmas. Both my brothers had their own families, and like the enablers that they are, they were forced to modify plans with their in-laws to placate my mom. I was in a lot of pain from my broken ankle. I was sitting in the living room on the couch when I heard my mom rushing around preparing for the next day. Suddenly, my mom brought a tray and set it in front of me. She declared that she refused to do all this alone, that I was going to help her. Never mind, my 20-year-old sister was still living with my parents. This must have been 5 or 6 p.m. in the evening, since it was getting dark due to the winter months. My mom placed before me tools and ingredients for a Ukrainian salad I had never prepared before. There was a large bowl of probably 20 to 30 eggs. She instructed me to peel the eggs and then chop them for the salad. I was in a lot of pain but did not want to pull that card, so I complied and started peeling the eggs. See, my mom not only gave me this task, but she stayed the entire time and monitored my performance. At the beginning, she claimed I was peeling the eggs wrong, that I was leaving too much egg white on the shell that was discarded. I did my best to peel the eggs to my mom's specifications. This caused me to slow down in the peeling process. Then she claimed I was too slow. Somehow, I got through her impossible standards for egg peeling. Now came the egg chopping part. My mom had an egg chopper. For the salad, the egg had to be finely chopped into small cubes. My mom insisted these needed to be the same shape and size. I started chopping the eggs using the device my mom got me. The cube sizes kept coming out in different sizes. She insisted I try again despite inferring I was incompetent. Then again, the same thing happened as before. This time I noticed that the latch on the chopper malfunctioned, causing the eggs not to slice all the way through, thus creating the issue. I tried pointing out this malfunction, but she refused to listen to me. As each egg was chopped, my mom grew my mom's anger grew. She then ripped the egg chopper from my hands and began breathlessly and aggressively show me the right way to do it. Except because the chopper was defective, her eggs came out just like mine. This infuriated her even more. Then she made me try. Same result. Now she was becoming aggressive. She slapped the eggs from my hands and started insulting me. She made accusations how she had to do everything herself and no one helps her. I froze up. I was too scared to move. This was just like the time when I was 5 years old and I was learning how to read. I could not pronounce the word roof in Ukrainian. Each time I pronounced it wrong, my mom would slap me across the face. I was trapped, not allowed to leave. She made me sit there and repeat the word. I kept mispronouncing it. Finally, she slapped me so hard my lip burst and I started bleeding. The reading lesson was over. I saw the same parallels with the reading lesson as my mom smacked the eggs from my hand. Then I refused to continue. Then my mom tried to force the eggs back in my hands. My mom was hovering over me, her face inches from mine. The monster was growing bigger and bigger. I told my mom that I was not doing this anymore. I told her she was getting aggressive and that I was leaving. I attempted to get up using my good leg due to my injury. Suddenly my mom stood up and took me by my shoulders and pushed me back down on the couch. I attempted to stand up a couple more times and she pushed me down again. Then she pushed me down so hard and started punching me in the head with both her closed fists. I tried to defend myself, but she was too strong. She kept beating me. During the beating, my 20-year-old sister came home. This did not stop my mom. My sister opened the front door where the couch was positioned next to. She saw my mom beating me, and I helplessly looked up at my sister. My sister gave me the side eye and walked past the couch and went upstairs to her room. Finally, the monster was done hitting me while still making growling statements. She had to justify her beating. She was out of breath from all the energy it took to throw me down and punch me for what must have been several minutes. She finally left the living room while growling. I sat there on the couch in severe pain, collected myself, stood up, hobbled upstairs to where my room was. From the other room, my sister spoke to me and said, "Great, you made her mad. Now she's going to take it out on me." Your mother demands loyalty at all times. At all times from everyone around. That's the borderline. That's the borderline. She is a mean middle school cheerleader who expects loyalty from all her little minions around him. And when she doesn't get it, she turns nasty and violent and lashes out. That's who your mother is. I've been telling you that, Tanya, over and over and over again. Your mother's worthless. Your sister's worthless. Be done with them. Forever. So, I hope that helps. Thank you again, Tanya, for another contribution and story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like me to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype, phone call, have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all of this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box, as this channel is 100% demonetized from YouTube and Google. So Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Refuge from Narcissism. Take care.